Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of NuStrength Sugar Babes. And on this show, we are all about helping women win at life. So the problem that we see in the fitness industry is that it is full of quick fix diets. So Michelle Bridges, F45, shape diets, which basically just run women into the ground and they lose weight and then they put it all back on. But in that process, they end up with like hormonal issues, PMS. They want to kill their husband and their kids. They don't want to bang their husband anymore. No sex drive, binge eating, like big binge eating, binge drinking. And they just end up hating themselves in the process. So, in the Win at Life program, we're all about balance and teaching women to love themselves again and getting strong and eating real food and eating sugar. So, on this week's episode, I have the lovely Alison Mazey. Now, she is a recovering cardio addict. And actually, you've come so far. I really did have my doubts about you when you first started because you were kept saying to me, yeah, but Kitty, can I just do one run? Maybe I'll just, it was amazing how quickly, I think though, because of your personality, you're okay, if I'm going to do something, which I really admire about you is that you're I'm committing to it 100%. And you've been really awesome and you've done everything that we said and you've got awesome results, and that's the reason, because even though maybe at this time you weren't sure, you were just I'm going in, I'm going all in, I'm going to implement, and then I'll just see what happens. So, you've gone from just doing cardio to never lifting foot in a gym ever to now you can deadlift, you can squat, you can bench, you're eating way more food and you're feeling better. So just tell the viewers about some of the changes that you've seen so far since doing the program.
Yeah, you're right. I didn't realise that my whole training method kind of revolved around basically cardio and lots of long distance running, but also lots of gym classes that were basically just more cardio. And that's kind of what I thought I had to do to keep the weight off and keep fit. And that was literally 5 or 6 days a week. And so when, we kind of hit on the whole Win at Life program, I knew it was completely different to what I was doing, but I also kind of felt that the universe was telling me that I couldn't continue what I was doing. It wasn't sustainable because I was fucking exhausted. Yeah. And so initially I had my whole mental plan, I'll do what they tell me, but I'll also just chuck in a run here or there. And pretty quickly as I progressed with the weightlifting, I realized that I didn't have that need or drive or desire to run or do any cardio classes, which is totally not how I used to feel. If I missed a day for any reason, because I was so tired and I just couldn't get up, I'd really beat myself up and go, oh my God, I missed a day. Now I'm going to have the worst day and I'm going to feel awful. But pretty quickly I realized that I wasn't feeling that need or desire to go out and do something every day for an hour. And so even today I decided that I would catch up with my running group, but I just would walk, and I'm quite happy with having a walk with them to catch up socially. And a lot of them now are walking as well because they can't sustain the 10Ks of hill running that we used to do every week because we were fucking insane. And one of them was saying, I haven't seen you for ages, what are you doing? And I just said, yeah, well, I just decided I just don't need to run. And I actually felt the words come out of my mouth and I was like, oh, I can't believe I said that. But and they said, but don't you miss it? I'm like, no, actually not.
I think too, you're obviously a mum of two, a busy mother. Yeah. You work full time, in quite a senior position. So it's also you have hours and hours to be spending, wasting time. And tell the audience a bit more about, I remember when you came in, you were eating under 1,400 calories, under our baseline. Now, what are you doing now? 2,000?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. Because we have 2 kids and my husband and I both work full time. So we're out the door by 8. So my training was literally stupid o'clock, 4:30 a.m. And one of the things he said lately is, it's nice to actually wake up with you here, to have you here at the house in the morning and for the kids to come in and have a morning cuddle. And he's like, that's the first thing that he does. Is
you in the morning.
Yeah, I still get up early to go and train, but that's only 3 mornings a week. The other 5, I'm at home and wake up with everybody and do all of that. So that's great. But yeah, I didn't realize how little I was eating. I mean, I know that I was doing some stupid things like, you know, I'd buy a packet shake box to have like as lunches for some period when I thought I needed to like get back into it. You know, oh, let's have a shake for lunch every day for 6 weeks and feel amazing. Not. But when I actually started tracking, and I had no concept of how much I should be eating and what the minimum was. So when you were actually saying that's like you're starving yourself, that was a bit of a wake up. I was like, wow, really? Like I felt like I was eating okay. And I know that sometimes I skipped breakfast. Well, a lot of the time I skipped breakfast and those sorts of things. But I thought generally like the food I was eating was okay portions and pretty healthy, like salads and tuna tins and things like that. But when you were like, that's starving yourself, I was like, wow.
And
really?
training 6 days a week, running. Like,
well, yeah. And so when we started to talk about, you know, my metabolic function and that really quickly improved. So when I started to look at the cues as to when to increase my food and actually listen to myself and go, yeah, I'm not sleeping through the night and I'm actually feeling tired. Like I used to fall asleep in meetings at work. Like at 10:30 a.m., I'd be in a meeting with 20 other people and be like this. Yeah. And like workmates next to me would look at me and go, what the hell is wrong? Like, what's wrong with you? And I'd be like, I don't know. Like I would just fall asleep because I was so tired and so starving. It was awful. And like trying to be a professional and all I want to do is shut my eyes and put my head down on the desk. It's like terrible. So when I had started to, you know, really track my food and really listen to my metabolic cues and realize that when I felt like that in the day, it meant that I needed to increase my food, which I did. So now I no longer have any of those issues and I'm now eating 2,000 calories.
Isn't it interesting though? Like you've actually reduced your training, you do no cardio, you're eating 600 calories more and you're getting leaner.
Yeah, well, I have not put on 1 kilo. Like I didn't have fat to lose. Like, so that I knew that I wouldn't change, you know, much in terms of weight, but I was a bit skeptical. I was a little bit worried that, you know, increasing food and decreasing activity would put on weight. And I was like, okay, we'll just see how this goes. Let's just see what happens. But yeah, I literally, the whole 4 months, I sway between about 600 kilos.
Remember you were like, what is this witchery, Kitty? What is this witchery? What is this?
I know, I'm like, what is it, sorcery? What's going on?
I can see your body changing the photos you've sent. Like your weight's not changing, but you're putting on muscle and you're losing body fat. Like you're getting, you look, your shoulders, I can see your shoulders, your stomach looks flatter. Like, you know, and tell the audience what you're eating now.
Well, yeah, and like when I actually looked at photos, I realized that, you know, when I take photos at the very end of the day or after a very big meal, my stomach is still flat. Like it's not bloated. When I don't do exercise for a day, my stomach is still flat. Like it's not exercise that's making me have a flat stomach. It's my diet that is consistent. So, you know, that's important. What am I eating? So because, you know, I work full time and try and be pretty organized, we eat pretty simple stuff. I generally cook sort of 2 or 3 big batches of meals and then just like cycle them throughout the week. And then on the weekend, I'm lucky enough now to kind of have a more flexible day where I don't track as much, but I'm still aware of what I'm eating.
Mindful.
So I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. So like I'll cook things like we really like the meatballs. So I'll have like 2 big 100-gram meatballs and like 150 grams of rice or potatoes. I like either chicken breast curry or like beef mince curry. So I'll make a big like curry. We'll serve that out through the week. Like fish, but like heaps of orange juice, heaps of cheese, heaps of butter. Yeah, actually, that's another thing. Ice cream, chocolate. Like I'm like, how else am I going to fit my calories in? Oh, I can make chocolate milk at 9:30. So let's do that because then I can have like 4 teaspoons of sugar. All right. So I'm like, But one of the big things is actually that my taste buds have changed too. I never used to eat a lot of fruit, and I was a proud mango hater, like all through my childhood. I was so proud to say, I fucking hate mangoes. They're disgusting. I don't know how you eat them. But I went to Woolies the other day to do my shopping. I was like, oh, the dude was serving out like little individual serves of mango. I was like, oh, it tastes, oh my God, the best thing I've ever eaten in my life. So now I think about mango all night until I get to eat it the next day. I'm like, oh,
that's hilarious.
When's it mango time?
So training less, eating more food, better sleep, better energy, better moods, just all around fucking better. Oh, I'm not supposed to swear. All around better. Not on these episodes. That's awesome. Yeah, keep it together, right? So, okay, awesome. So talk a little bit more about when you started to talk about this, like what you'd done in the past and how it made you feel. So like, you know, so many women are like, I've got to do cardio. I've got to eat heaps of green vegetables. I've got to eat low calories. Like you don't realise like how it affects your body.
Yeah. Like I was even just talking about this with my friends who were running today, and some of them have actually started to move away from running and into weight training. And, you know, we were really sort of all kind of half agreeing that, you know, running and cardio, like other than fat loss, which, you know, will be an effect, it really isn't doing much for you.
Well, you don't actually
in terms of changing your body.
You look at you're doing no cardio and you're putting on muscle. It's like the diet, and you know, as you increase muscle, it will help you lose body fat. So really, it's something with fucking fat loss. It's just a terrible thing. It's a swear word.
But it's like just my education now. I'm so sure of what I'm doing and what I'm talking about that, you know, I said to one of the women, oh, you know, the nutrition change has been amazing. And I said to her, oh, you've lost some weight. She goes, yeah, just better eating, you know, like veggies and salads. And I was like, oh, what are you eating veggies and salads for? And she goes, because they're good for you. And I'm like, says who? Like,
yeah, why?
What did cavemen? Because she was like, oh, just no carbs, you know. And I'm like, oh my God, I eat like so much potatoes and so much rice a day. She's like, really? Oh, wow. And I said, why are you eating veggies and salad? Who says that that's what you should eat? Like, that's just what people believe, but there's no theory, you know, there's no research. There's no knowledge behind what she was saying, and she was herself. Yeah, totally. It's like, oh, because it's good for you.
It's like, well, what about liver? What about oysters? They're super good for you, and they're what you're eating now. They're so nutrient dense, and people look at me and they're like, So did you felt really exhausted, running all the time, tired, falling asleep?
But I didn't realize that's how I felt. I just thought that's how everyone felt. You know, being a big person, you know, you're always just going to feel tired. I didn't realize there was better, and that's kind of why I signed up. Like, well, maybe there is better. Maybe there's a better way to feel. Like, what does that feel like? Like, when one of the questions you guys wanted us to answer was, what does winning at life look like you? And I was like, look like for you. And I sort of thought, well, I don't actually know, because I don't know if there's a better, but if there is a better, I fucking want to find out. So
yeah, totally. And it's funny, like, I often sit there and I'll think, like, when I see people who come to me and they're doing these ridiculously like low calorie diets, cardio, and I think about going back to that and what it was like. Like, do you ever think about it and think, I can't even used to do that?
All the time. Like, because, you know, going back to, I didn't realize that my diet was so low calorie because I just didn't ever like have any indication of what a female should be eating, you know, who's busy and doing lots of exercise. But now, like, both my husband and I, like Phil, who's also training you guys now, after seeing me and what I have experienced, he's now like, well, get on board. We're both like, we can't go back to what I can't go back to what it was before. Like, there is no other option. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to.
It makes me same. I'm the same. So if you were looking at yourself a year ago and you were going to give your old self some advice, what would you say to her?
What did I say? Actually, I was looking at myself 3 months ago at the video. I watched the video that I did at the very start all the time, and a few people have gone, that doesn't even look like you. Like, that looks like such a different person. Like, and I watched that, and that's just 3 months ago. I would just say there's a better way. Like, there's a better option. Just explore your options. Don't take for granted what you think is supposed to be the way, you know.
Yeah, totally. And you know, like, obviously for the viewers out here who are watching this, you know, some of the common objections that we get is time. So, like, a lot of women are like, I just don't have time, Kitty. I have a husband to look after, a job, 2 kids. You have all of those things and a quite, you know, senior job. How easy is this to fit into your lifestyle? Like, 3 days a week?
It gives me back time. Like, I don't feel like it's wasting time. I actually get time back because I'm not training as much. So I get more time, like 5 mornings a week, 4 mornings a week to do other things. But because I can plan and prepare like the night before, even, I don't even prep my whole week's worth of meals. I prep the night before for the next day. Which is what you do for your kids when you're sending them for school. It's no different. Me prepping for myself and packing my little lunchbox. And so for the whole next day, I don't have any thinking or time wasted. Like, everything I need is all ready to go. So I don't feel like there's any time spent. It's actually giving me back time to think about and do other things.
I think another one too is
because I'm not even cooking meals at night now because I cook those few big meals on Sunday, and like tonight I've already got my meatballs in the freezer that I will get out for dinner. So that's no cooking.
Yeah, so easy. And you know, the other one is a lot of women, they're like, they put everyone else first. So like the mums out there, they're always like, oh no, the kids first. I can't afford to do it. Like, I've got to do this with the kids. And it's like, what would you say to a woman who was thinking, oh, I don't deserve this, or I don't deserve to do something for me? Like, how does it affect the rest of your family when you actually look after yourself?
Yeah, that's like the saying, you know, I've always been, you know, I've always taken it quite importantly that I need to have my own time. And while, you know, I don't carve out a lot of that for myself, I've always made sure that I have some time in the morning to do my own thing. Or I think it's really important. And, you know, for women who say, oh, I don't have time for me, or I can't do it because everybody else has to come first. Well, that's a joke, because you're the most important person in your life. If you're not happy, then you can't be happy for your family. Like, I couldn't enjoy, and I said it before, I couldn't enjoy life with my kids because I was so unhappy and unsure. I couldn't enjoy spending time with them and eating an ice cream because I was,
I remember that post you got in the Facebook page, like, yay, I'm eating ice cream with my kids and not feeling guilty because we love ice cream. Ice cream's good. And lastly, you know, the last one is money. And I guess, you know, what's your health worth to you? What's your life, and how much extra does it really bring to your life by investing this small investment in yourself?
Yeah. And that was something that I had to think about, because, you know, you have to work out where you spend your money and what's important to you. But, you know, then when I sort of looked into it, well, okay, well, could I, you know, find a gym that wasn't as expensive, that had just the basic equipment, because I don't need, you know, fitness classes and all sorts of bells and whistles, because I have my trainers now online. I don't need them to be at the place where I go to the gym. If I wanted to do a session with a personal trainer, it would probably cost that much or more. And if I'm going to prioritize that, then there are other things that I don't need anymore. Like, I don't need acrylic nails. I don't need to go do that every month. You know, like, I don't drink as much, so I don't need to go buy 3 bottles of wine on a Friday that cost $20 each. Like, I don't need to do that. So,
totally. It's so interesting. Like, April was saying the same thing. She's like, you know, and when you shop, you can shop it out. And the thing with this diet, if you keep it simple, you can save a lot of money, you know, in terms of your shopping and stuff too. So I think, like you say, it's all about prioritizing and going, well, what's this small bit of money that I can invest in, and what's some little things I can cut out that's in acrylic nails. That's hilarious. But, and you know what? A big juicy round butt from squatting is way better than acrylic nails.
Well, and just feeling more sure, so sure of myself, like, so sure that I don't need to question, and I don't need, you know, anyone else to give me that praise or admiration.
Because you're deadlifting like a boss now. Okay, and so look, for anyone out there, for women that are watching this, if you're stuck, you know, if you're stuck in that place, like Ali was, and like lots of other women that come to us, click on the link below, put in an application to work with us. You know, we've got a number of different packages, you know, so there is a package that is affordable for everyone. And I think too, it's just about what is it costing you not to do this? You know, so
how long is it going to go on? Like, how long are you going to spend doing the same thing? Like I always say, stupid is doing the same thing and expecting
insanity.
I know, it's insanity, but I say stupid because I'm not smart.
Doing stupid shit.
Yeah, how long are you doing that for? Like, why don't you just try? Like,
you can eat amazing food, you can train less, you can be in this amazing community of women. So thank you so much for coming on the show today. And ladies out there, don't waste any more time. Click on the link below, book in a time to chat with us, you know, and join our amazing community. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ali, and I will see everyone next week.